Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Akmal bin Muhammad Hisham, metric number 1817435. Now, I would like to explain to you the Islamic architecture of the Seljuk dynasty. But before that, let me explain to you a brief history of the Seljuk dynasty. Seljuk originated from a ruling military family, a ruling military tribe of Oghuz. They are Turkic tribe. Their ruling period spanned from year 1060 to the year around 1307, about 300 years of ruling. Okay, about 300 years of ruling. And along that, in the 11th century, they have invaded most part of southwestern Asia. Okay, and founded an empire that comprised of Mesopotamia, comprised of Palestine, comprised of Syria, and a large area of Iran. Okay, and a part of invading those areas, in the later years, they invade the Anatolia, okay, Byzantine Empire. When they invade the Byzantine Empire, and because of the invasion of the Anatolia, they are regarded as the earliest ancestor of the modern Turkish people. So they are actually quite significant for us to know. Okay, and when they invade Anatolia through Iran, before they came Anatolia, they came through Iran. They have absorbed the great Persian architecture and blended that architecture within the Byzantine architecture that they found in Anatolia. And in combination with the two great architecture, they form a new kind of architecture that not only beautiful but also resemble and have a theological element. Okay, and some example of the architecture is shown in the dome, the Iwan, the monumental portal, and also the minarets. Okay. Next, some of the architectural features of the Seljuk dynasty are the monumental portal. The monumental portal is nothing but an entrance gate that is surmounted with a triangular arch and filled with many stalactite carvings known as the muqarnas. And despite of the carvings, this portal are also decorated with colorful glazed ceramic tiles decoration, and they are usually arranged in a palette of turquoise blue, cobalt blue, black, and also white. Okay, and some of the design elements that are included in the tiles are their emblem, the Seljuk emblems, their calligraphies, geometrics, and sometimes humans and animals. And all of them, of these carving, these traditional Seljuk decoration motifs are known as the Kubadabat. Okay, next, the Iwan. What is Iwan? Iwan is a large vault that is left open at the end to provide shelter and also to allow contact with outdoors. They are usually present in a building with a courtyard. Iwan face the courtyard. For example, this is the courtyard, 1 A1, 2 A1, 3 and 4 A1. We can see 4 A1s in a building, but however, sometimes the number are varies. Maybe more than 4, maybe less than 4. And lastly, most interesting and unique features in the Seljuk dynasty is their dome. Their domes are decorated and also have features of a triangular arc. This triangle arc provides support to the dome, and they are known as the Turkish triangle. The presence of Seljuk dynasty has impacted the Muslim world enormously. Okay, some of the contribution to the Muslim architecture overall is the caravanserai, the introduction of caravanserai. What is caravanserai? Caravanserai is nothing but only a building that is made and meant for travelers, where they provide free food, they provide free entertainment, and they provide free shelter for them. Because in Islam, the ethics towards a traveler is something that is emphasized. So the Seljuk applied that kind of ethics into a building, made a building, so that they can get charity from it. Okay, next. The Seljuk also was the first to introduce the concept of 4-in-1 mosque. We know that mosque has many functions. Okay, some of the function are site of praying, site of teaching, and one-stop center for charity works. And with the decoration of this A1, the 4A1 mosque, it makes the masjid, the mosque, to be more interesting and more attracting, so that many people will come to the mosque, many people will come and perform charity there, perform prayers there, and seek education there. And the last one, the Seljuk also introduced a kind of architecture for mausoleum. I think that not only mausoleum, but also for other kind of building where they are decorated and designed in a very unique conical shape. Okay, most of the Seljuk building are in conical shape roof. Okay, usually if we look at the Middle East, most of them are in dome, right? In dome shape. But in Seljuk, most of them are in conical shape, including the minarets, including the masjid, and other buildings, especially the administrative building. But however, there are some buildings that are decorated with pointed roof or bulbous roof. Okay, and we can see these three kind of roof or domes in their mausoleum. For the details of Seljuk architecture, I would like to give you few examples so that you are clear with it. Okay, the first example is the Ulu Jamit Mosque of Divriği in Turkey. Okay, at the entrance of the mosque, the pishtak, or the rectangular frame of the entrance, was decorated with embroidery pattern of a baroque design. What's baroque design? Baroque design is nothing but a resemblance of Gothic-like features from the Italy architecture. And you can see this kind of architecture, this kind of baroque design or Gothic-like features in most of Seljuk buildings, especially at the entrance of the building or at the porch of the hospital. Okay, next, the Great Isfahan Mosque. The Great Isfahan Mosque have a one main dome, a large one, and many small domes around the large dome. And at the small domes, it have one opening, known as the oculus, that allow light to pass through, to light up the mosque during days. And the mosque have a very clear concept of 4A1. Okay, like I mentioned just now, this is the courtyard, 1A1, 2A1, 3A1, 4A1. Okay, you can see this kind of A1 in the Great Isfahan Mosque. And the mosque also has a very unique vaulting system of monumental portal, like I mentioned in the previous part. And you can see a large application of muqarnas that was decorated around the mosque. Okay, next, the minaret. Instead of using square type minaret, the Seljuk used and introduced cylindrical shaped minarets. They are the first known to use cylindrical shaped minarets. There are three types. Okay, the first type is the superimposed type, the superimposed shaft, where you can see at the Jam minaret of Afghanistan. The second type is the tapered shaft minaret, where you can see it in the Kalan Mosque of Bukhara. And the third type is a minaret shaft that is supported by semi-cylindrical grooves, like you see in Qutub Minar of India. And you can also see this kind of minaret in the most part of Anatolia. And for your information, the Seljuk also was the first to introduce dual minaret system. Okay, at the entrance, this is the entrance. You can see the minaret at one side, this one minaret, and at another side, one minaret. Okay, they are the first to introduce that. The architecture of the Seljuk doesn't stop at their era only. Okay, the architecture was also implemented in the modern world. For example, the Diyanet Center of America. The Diyanet Center of America consists of two buildings. First, the mosque. Second, the cultural center. For the mosque, it was highly decorated with muqarnas at the interior side of the mosque, around the dome, where it consists of many geometrical patterns, so that it ensures a smooth transition from column to column and from arc to arc. Second, the cultural center, although from the outside it may look very simple, but from the inside it is highly decorated and ornamented with Seljuk architecture. Since the Seljuk used stones, woods, and tile as their dominant items in the architecture, the cultural center of the Unit Center also used the same thing, the three most dominant items for the architecture, so that it will closely resemble the Seljuk architecture. Next, in Turkey, the Jamlika Mosque, or the largest mosque in Turkey, also have the element of Seljuk architecture, but only that the element of architecture is a combination of four nations: the Ottomans, the Seljuk, the Denmark, and the Scandinavian. Okay, and for the last example, for the contemporary usage of Seljuk architecture is seen in the Presidential National Library of Turkey. This library was officially inaugurated by President Recep Tayyip Erdogan in February 2020, this most recently. And the architecture that we can see, the Seljuk features that we can see in this library is that the library are made up and decorated of white and pink tiles, pink marble, okay, designed with a very traditional Seljuk, Ottomans, and contemporary motifs. That are few examples of contemporary design or the contemporary application of the Seljuk architecture. I think that's all from me. I hope that you enjoy. I pass the floor to the next presenter.